We are a little less than 3 months away from Apple's WWDC, where we're going to learn all about iOS 19, watchOS 12, iPadOS 19, macOS 15, visionOS 3, tvOS 19, and all of the new software. Now, there's definitely going to be mention of Apple Intelligence at this, but right now we're going to focus on what is coming with iOS 19. And there's been a lot of speculation on Twitter or X, and it's very interesting because iOS 19 might be bringing that promised redesign that we have been hearing about for years. So we're going to start there. In an article by 9to5Mac, it says that Apple executives believe users will love the overhaul of iOS 19 per report. Now, this new interface will adapt the design principles introduced in visionOS, and it includes greater transparency, a new type of windows and buttons that make all Apple devices feel more consistent and familiar. Now, I personally believe this redesign is going to be a good thing, but let me say one thing first. It has to be done in the right way, right? Apple redesigned the Photos app with iOS 18 in this way that they thought was what was best for everyone. And I think everyone who uses an Apple device says iOS 18 Photos sucks. Okay, so Apple tried to redesign iOS 18 Photos, and the way they did it was essentially with they assume that everyone knows that your Photos app can do all this stuff, but now we're going to add in these other things to it and make it more usable for the user. But the average user was used to the way things were. There were 4 pages and everything was separated and had its own section. And there were some things users did not know it can do, which Apple is now highlighting. But now you also hid the average features that everyone was looking for, and it just made it so convoluted and so complicated that personally, I don't think this is something that is going to be around in iOS 19. I would not be surprised if Apple kind of does like we know users loved iOS 18's camera design, but now we took it even further with iOS 19 and redesigned it even better to make it more usable. Or something along those lines where they kind of paint it as, look, people loved it, but we wanted to, make it even better. Which they have definitely done. Now, in another article by 9to5Mac, it says there's 3 goals for iOS 19 that sound lawfully, but just right. Now, they know exactly what they want. They want it to be simpler to use, faster to navigate, and easier to learn. Now, I think those are the 3 key goals that Apple should really definitely want to hit. Right now, iOS, we've kind of buried things behind hidden menus. We bury things in settings. We have settings search that doesn't work. We have a camera roll. We have camera roll that is just a complete mess in the Photos app. There's a lot of things that with iOS, it's starting to segment into these different categories, I feel like. For example, if we take that new control center design, it kind of feels out of place in iOS now because it's this redesigned, it's bubbly, it's round, it's kind of fun, whereas we don't really have this in other elements of iOS. And based on what we've heard from 9to5Mac, from the 3 things that Apple wants to hit, as well as what Apple executives are saying about this, I truly think this is going to be an upgrade to watch. Now, some features that we are getting, and the big one, we're going to start with an Apple Intelligence exclusive, so sorry if you have an iPhone 15 or earlier. Sorry, you're going to be left out of this feature, but that is going to be the on-screen intelligently aware Siri. And also, I would not be surprised in any way, shape, or form if there is a complete redesign to Siri overall. Because of the fact that Apple promised on-screen intelligence with the iPhone 16 series, they've now actually had to delay this to iOS 19 as they cannot get it to work. It was rumored to come with 18.4, although 18.4 is coming out next month in April, and it has no signs of the contextually aware Siri. It was then rumored for 18.5, but Apple then came out and said, hey, sorry, we're pushing this entirely. And now this is where I think we start to see another AirPower scenario. Because Apple is trying to do everything on device for privacy reasons, which I completely understand, they're not able to do this. They're not able to make Siri work in an effective manner. But Siri has gone downhill over the years. I know if you ask Siri right now, what month is it? Sorry, I don't understand. You're not smart anymore, Siri, and that's just the simplest way to put it. Siri should know what month it is. It can tell you what the date is. It can tell you what the weather is. But I'm asking you to do simple commands, and it's just can't anymore. I asked it to open an app the other day. I said open Oral-B, which is an app I have connected to my toothbrush, and it goes, what would you like to know about this person in my contacts? And I go, that's not even remotely close to what I said, because their name was in no way relationship to open Oral-B. Did it sound like their name? So I just couldn't understand, even as a human, how Siri got there. But I truly think this iOS 19 and redesigning this Siri is going to be a good thing. Hopefully, I hope Apple doesn't botch this. I almost kind of feel like we're at that Apple Maps moment again with when it first launched in iOS 6 and how Apple then had to apologize, and now Apple Maps is really good. But we will see. But we will see where this ends up, because right now I'm not holding any hope for this Siri because it has not been looking good with Apple Intelligence. And another big one is the RCS support. So with iOS 18, Apple added RCS 2.4 support. Now, if you don't know what that is just the version of RCS that Apple chose to add. Now, with RCS messages, it allowed for better communication between Samsung or green bubble users to iPhones. And I have absolutely loved this. I send photos to people who don't have iPhones. I send texts. I send videos. I send texts. I do it all. And you look, they finally don't ruin group chats, which great. But RCS 2.4 is missing some key features. So Apple is skipping 2.7 and they're going straight to 3.0 with iOS 19. Now, the improvements that 3.0 is going to bring is the ability to edit a message, unsend a message, and delete a message, as well as have them encrypted. I think these are personally the most important features of RCS coming to the Messages app, as they're already there with iMessages, now they're there with Android users, so Android users don't get left out, and you also, of course, have the tap packs and all of the read receipts and the fun features we got with iOS 18 in terms of messaging, so nothing of that is really going to go away. You're just going to get more features to make it a better overall experience. Now, RCS is something I don't see Apple updating every year, and hence how we're already on there. We have 2.4 on the iPhone when they're on 3.0 right now is something that there's definitely a reason behind this, because Apple obviously wants you to get an iPhone. Now, in terms of a redesign, I have seen this concept floating around. As we mentioned before, it's going to look like Vision OS, and I saw this concept on Twitter by Rao, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, where it is a concept of Vision OS essentially on your iPhone home screen with widgets and app icons and labels, and this just looks so good. I want this tomorrow, Apple. Like, this is what I would absolutely truly love for a redesign. Just make my iPhone look different. Now, I do also believe this is why Apple added that customized home screen page, so if you don't want the rounded icons, you don't have to change over. But let me know what your thoughts are on these potential redesign and potential features rumored to come. And do you think iOS 19 needs a lot? Do you think it needs a little? I know personally, it can just be a bug fix and I'll be happy. I'm also extremely happy with the redesign, as I just mentioned. But definitely let me know in the comment down below. And while you're down there, if you want to hit like and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate that. And I want you to remember that today's a good day to make a great day, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.